And we're back. It's the Horror Guys with episode 148.
I'm Brian.
I'm Kevin.
And we've got, guess what?
I bet we got some horror movies.
4 horror movies and a short, as usual.
All right.
And we continue our 31 Days of Christmas with, believe it or not,
festive Christmas movies.
Oh, there are holly jolly heaps of horror.
Holly jolly? I don't know about that.
All right, before we get into it, we've got a new giveaway to talk about. We're going to be giving away how many?
9 digital copies.
9
digital
copies
codes
of the new film, A House on the Bayou, to give away.
Now, maybe not everybody realizes Redbox, the video rental kiosks,
they have an
vending
app.
machines. Yeah, they've gone online. They still do their DVDs, their machines too. But any device, pretty much any computer where you can download the app.
We watched it on our Apple TV.
You plug in a code to
and boom.
Yeah, normally you'd buy the movies, but we have codes to watch this for free.
Your tablet, your phone, your computer, your smart TV.
You can AirPlay it to your television.
You can, yeah.
Anyway, and we watched it, and boy, did I think that was good.
The trailer didn't look like much, but it was really good.
Yeah, I was prepared to be kind of meh, and boy, I was delighted.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and yeah.
Okay.
How are we going to give those away?
All right. Well, we've got 9 of them, and there's 3 different ways to get it. We're going to pick out 3 on December 26th, the day after Christmas, a week and a day after this podcast goes out. We'll pick 3 subscribers from our newsletter, Horror Bulletin horrorbulletin.substack.com, or go to our website and find the link, and 3 followers of Twitter account at Horror Movie Guys, and also 3 followers of the Twitter account at Horror Bulletin. Of course, we'll have all these details on the website on our giveaways page, horrorguys.com/giveaways, or check the show notes of the podcast. But believe it or not, I'll bet you next week we have a different giveaway. We got all kinds of giveaways coming up in the next few weeks. And you're going to win those the same way.
Because it's the Christmas season, and it's all about giving.
Yeah. Terrify everybody for Christmas. So yeah, even if you don't win next week on the 26th, stay subscribed to those 3 places, and you may win one of the others that are coming up. Yep. We've got at least...
We're helping to spread the good word about all these
3
great
other
movies and
giveaways in the next month.
All this great work that people are doing.
Yeah. All right. Well, this week we've got 4 movies. We're going to start out with
Krampus.
We're
not starting.
Okay, I don't know what order we're going.
I said
with,
that out of order.
Yeah, it's all right. We've got Anna and the Apocalypse from 2018. We've got Krampus from 2015. Rare Exports from 2010. And Christmas Evil, an old one from 1980.
Whoa.
And we liked them all. Here's a spoiler for you.
Yeah, we did.
Hey, you want to start?
We could start with Christmas Evil, the oldest one.
We could.
Christmas
I liked it so much
Evil.
we started twice.
I like that music. This was directed by Lewis Jackson and also written by Lewis Jackson. Stars Brandon Maggart, Jeffrey DeMunn, and Diane Hull. Runtime is 1 hour, 40 minutes. There's a trailer on YouTube that you can check out.
Yeah, and Christmas Evil from 1980. When did the Silent Night, Deadly Night come out?
I believe that was 84.
Yeah, so
it was after. So
this was actually, despite what they may say, this is your first slasher Santa.
They made such a big deal about protesting, Silent Night, Deadly Night, and actually this one came first.
This one really isn't so much of a slasher as he is just a lunatic, I guess.
Well, but it's Santa killing.
Oh, it definitely is.
Yeah, he's dressed as Santa doing it. Yeah.
All right, well, spoiler-free, this one is kind of a tragic story with a killer we get to know a bit and see descend into madness. Brandon Maggart really pulls off the lead role, and the supporting cast is pretty strong behind him. A little tame on the horror, but still worth a watch for sure.
Yeah, not a typical slasher where...
No, he's not just a mindless maniac.
And he's not a monster. I mean, he's a, quote, monster, but, it's a person.
Yeah. So what happens?
Well, it's Christmas Eve, 1947. 2 boys watch... What? Santa come down the chimney. He's confused and out of breath after the climb, but he heads towards the cookies and milk. He puts presents under the tree and fills the stockings and then heads back up the chimney.
Was Santa looking a little drunk there, you think?
Yeah, I think he was.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, uh-huh. Well, the boys debate whether that was really Santa or their father. A little later, little Harry goes downstairs, sees his mother doing naughty with Santa Claus.
I saw
Mommy kissing.
Bleeping Santa
bleeping
Claus.
Santa Claus. Yeah. Harry is traumatized. Breaks a snow globe, cuts himself with the glass. Credits roll.
All right. One way to traumatize your kids is to do some nasties with Santa Claus.
That's where it all began.
Yeah.
Well, in the present, 1980 present, Harry wakes up in his Santa jammies and dances around his Christmas-themed house. He's Christmas obsessed. He watches the neighbors with binoculars, seeing if the kids are bad or good. And he's got a name, a list. It's a little bit stalkery.
He's making a list,
a
and
little
he's checking
creepy,
it twice.
But, his intentions are pure, but it's a little stalkery and creepy.
He watches the kids out the window with his binoculars.
Yeah, and
so
makes
he's thorough.
naughty nice. He's keeping notes. Yeah. Well, he goes to work at the Jolly Dream Toy Factory. His coworkers hate Christmas because they all have to work harder to make all the Christmas toys. They also bully Harry, even though he's technically their boss. One of them tricks Harry into taking his shift while he goes to the bar. Afterward, Harry finds out, throws a little tantrum at home. He goes over to his brother Philip's house, watches his brother and his wife Jackie having sex.
Through the window.
Yeah.
He's a peeping Harry.
He's an odd duck, yeah. The next day, Jackie tells Philip to quit overprotecting Harry. Jackie's Philip's wife, who's always taking care of his brother. Harry makes his own Santa outfit, and he paints a sleigh on the side of his van. He's going all out. The kid across the street is naughty, so Harry goes over and scares him. He then goes home and makes toy soldiers out of lead.
He sneaks up to the kid's house, rubs, motor oil or something on his face and hands, and leaves a print on the side of the house.
On the house, and then he makes toy soldiers with pointy swords, we noticed. Yeah. We're thinking, those are going to be used later. Well, it's time for the Jolly Dream Christmas party. There's a video about the company donating toys and money to the state hospital. The new PR guy brags about the video, but he doesn't really care about the children. It's just a ploy to make more money and publicity. Harry goes down to the factory floor and steals a bunch of toys. He's really into the idea of giving these kids the toys, Well, Christmas Eve arrives. Santa's dressed up and in someone's home, leaving toys and gifts. He's also got a great big knife. He leaves the little boy across the street.
You don't hear that part in the song.
No. Leaves a bag of dirt for the naughty kid. And then he heads over to the orphanage. The security guard thinks he's a little crazy, but he sweet talks his way in. He's got a truckload of toys, and the staff comes out, and they're very appreciative.
Yay, Santa.
Yeah. Well, he goes to church, tracks down the owner of the toy factory and the PR guy. And he doesn't get them, but he does leave an impression on a few of the other people.
Yeah, he does.
A little bloody impression there. There's a reason those toy soldiers had toy swords. Yeah. Pointy pokey. He parks his van and gets pulled into a party where he plays Santa for everyone. It goes very well, and then as he leaves, he remembers Frank, the coworker who tricked him into taking his shift. He tries to climb down that man's chimney, but he won't fit, and he barely pulls himself back out.
It looked like the show was about over at that point.
Yeah, he was really wedged. Well, he barely pulls himself out. He manages to get inside. Didn't he go in through the basement, I think. Yeah. And the kids in there see him. Well, he smothers Frank with his gift bag and then cuts his throat with a Christmas tree star. So he gets his vengeance on bullying Frank. Yeah. And like we said, it's kind of a gradual descent into madness that we watch. He's a little unbalanced and keeps getting worse throughout it. Well, Christmas Day arrives at Jackie and Phil's house. They wonder what happened to Harry. Something's wrong. They watch a news bulletin about the murders last night, and Philip suspects of who it was. Morning comes, the police are rounding up all the Santas for a lineup. Harry calls Philip and explains that he's found his own tune now.
Yeah, that's a phrase that comes up a couple of times. You need to find your own tune.
Well, he did.
Because he's a little
unfortunately.
off tune, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, a man recognizes Harry while he's with their children, and they literally, suddenly, these people have torches. They light up torches, and they're chasing him through the city
Somebody
streets.
saw Frankenstein too many times.
Yeah. And there's a chase scene. He makes it to the van. He gets away, goes to Phil's house. Phil immediately knows what's happened. Phil yells at Harry and chokes him out, drags him outside, puts him in the van, and Harry wakes up and drives away.
It's not quite clear what Phil's plan was at that point.
I don't know. I think he kind of panicked.
He
and
put Harry
didn't quite
behind the
know what to do.
driver's seat, so it wasn't like he was going to take him anywhere.
No, I think he just didn't, no. He thought he killed him, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. The torch mob catches him, and Harry drives his van off the bridge and flies away like a real Santa Claus.
Yeah, if you read the trivia on it, there's a bit of confusion about the ending there.
Yeah.
We see the van flying through the air, and we hear ho, 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 or whatever with jingle bells, but you can also hear a crash in the distance.
Well, I think that was his hallucination.
Yeah.
He hallucinated that he was flying away and as Santa.
Or did he?
Well, I think in reality, yeah.
You don't think he was really Santa?
No, but he was delusional and, really losing it at the end.
All right. Well, okay, I like this one a lot. Harry's basically he's a good guy, abused and cheated by his peers, but he loves what he does. He slowly but surely cracks under the pressure. Jackie and Philip know Harry has problems, but we never see them doing anything together to get any feel of what's happened in the past. From what Phil says, he knows things have been going on in the past, but we never see any of that.
No, we don't.
The first act of the film is pretty slow, so they probably didn't have any way to fit it in, but it would have been nice to have seen a little more of Phil and Harry's history. Brandon Maggart knocks himself out here, giving us a great depiction of a man losing his mind. He's completely relatable, pitiable, and has good motivations. He does a great job for the good people at the party and gives the orphanage a bunch of gifts. So he really does reward the good people and punish the bad. He just sort of gets lost along the way.
It sure does.
It's kind of slow and pretty tame for what it is. He doesn't kill many people, but I do like it anyway.
Yeah, I did too.
Harry is not a raging slasher like Billy in Silent Night, Deadly Night. He's just a much more realistic depiction of a mentally ill man. And I think I might like this one more than I'm supposed to.
That's okay. I give you permission.
What do we got next?
Rare Exports, A Christmas Tale.
I
You
saw
ever
this...
wonder where all they get all those mall Santas from?
Now we know.
Now we know.
Yeah. 2010, and it's from, where's it from? Norway, Sweden?
Norway.
One of them cold places. Okay. I saw this, I don't know, 5 or 6 years
Finland.
ago.
I'm sorry, Finland.
Finland.
No, don't confuse those two. I understand that's fighting words.
Well, we do get listeners from around the world, so we
apologize for that. This is a Finnish movie.
Yeah, they tend to get upset about that. The movie's not finished, but it's finished.
It's finished.
Yes. Yeah, so we saw this about 5 or 6 years ago, and I thought it was just about the funniest Christmas movie I've ever seen.
Dark humor, about as dark as humor can be.
And then we watched it this week, and
it's still hilarious.
It's good, but it's not as good as I remember it. I don't think it holds up as well.
I think it was better the first time.
When you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, when you don't know what's going on and you see the surprises.
So if you've never seen it, we both recommend it. Put us on pause, go watch Rare Exports, and then come back for our spoilery review. Directed by Jalmari Helander. I'm going to kill these names.
Yeah, you are.
Written by Jalmari Helander, Joust Helander, and Petri Jacarenta. Stars Anita Mila, Jorma Tamila, and Tommy Corpella. And I bet this had all kinds of pronunciations that just went right over my head.
We apologize for that.
Hour and 24 minutes, trailer in the show notes. Maybe you want to watch that trailer. It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So how about the spoilers? Spoiler-free.
Spoiler-free? I shall read the spoiler-free judgment zone. This is just so ridiculous that it's hard to find any faults with it. It's just silly fun. And yet, grim and gory, and it's got all the good horror elements to it too. It's the perfect Christmas horror film.
It is subtitled, so it's maybe not for little kids.
And
Even without
well,
the
it's probably
subject
not
matter,
for
yeah.
little kids anyway. You know, if you got a kid that believes in Santa Claus, this is probably is not one to.
The real story of Santa Claus.
So, where does Santa Claus really come from? If you said Finland, you'd be half right.
You'd be right, yes. All right, so we start out with an isolated mountain in Finland with a small village nearby. The core samples from the dig have turned up something strange. It's sawdust from 1,300 meters down. They've continued to drill, and the manager gives new safety instructions, including things like wash behind your ears. The owner then finds something new in sample number 98. My dream since my earliest childhood is about to come true. I can proudly say that we're standing on the sacred grave of the biggest burial mound in the world, he says. And he seems maybe a little bit off his rocker.
A little bit.
But the guys are getting paid, so they keep digging.
He's got money and he's paying, so yeah, they're like, yeah, whatever, boss.
Yeah, he tells his workers that they have 24 more hours to rob this grave. Two nearby children overhear this and argue about Santa Claus, and then the credits roll. Huh.
And good child actors.
Yes, they
Especially
are.
that main kid.
Very weird, but that's what they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Well, the child reads the book, The Truth About Santa Claus. Apparently, the real Santa Claus is a monstrous, child-eating, demonic thing. We've never seen that before. One day before Christmas, Rauno the butcher digs a deep hole and covers it. It's a trap for wolves that have been picking on his animals. Young Pitari, his son, was the boy we saw reading the book, and he's terrified of Santa because of it. He's found footprints under his window, like the one Santa Claus made in his book. One of the neighbors is putting up an electric fence to enclose reindeer. Remember, this is Finland. They have those. There are predators in the area, and he wants to protect the reindeer.
Well, I think that was a plan. They were going to kind of herd them in there, too.
Naturally, every year they get a herd, and they want to capture some,
channel them in there.
They want to get them before the wolves do.
Yeah, because they're good eating.
The researchers up on the mountain have made the wildlife a little antsy with their explosions. Turns out something has killed all the local reindeer, and wolves are the prime suspects. Rain and Pipharan shoot open the gate and go inside to question the researchers while Juso and Pitari tag along.
These names are hard.
Yeah, and autocorrect makes it worse.
Yeah.
The base is deserted. The men find a huge hole that goes way, way down. Finding no one there, they all go home for the night. Pitari staples his advent calendar shut. He doesn't want to open the big prize on the 25th. He explains to his father, Juso, the real Santa was a bit different. The Coca-Cola Santa is a fraud. He shows him pictures from his book. He shows him a diagram he took from the mine up on the mountain. He thinks they dug up Santa Claus. Santa fell through the ice ages ago, and the people buried the whole block of ice under that mountain.
And covered it with sawdust to keep it frozen, and then covered it with dirt. That was the sawdust they dug up.
Well, that guy said it was a big grave they were going to rob.
Uh-huh.
Pitari and his father talk over cookies. His mother has recently died, and they both miss her a lot. Then we see what happened to the workers on the dig site. It's Christmas! Something triggered Rauno's trap. There's a body impaled on one of the spikes. Rain and Piparanen take the body to the butcher's work area and look more closely at him. It's a very old man, but he has the mine foreman's American passport on him. Pitari goes down on the hole and finds a bag of creepy dolls. Rauno and Piparan start to cut up the body, because he's a butcher, but finds that the old man is still alive. Rauno and Pitari go into town and find that weird things have been happening in the village. Thousands and thousands of potatoes are lying on the ground in the barn. Someone stole all the sacks. They left the potatoes, they just took the bags.
They wanted the bags.
Someone stole all the heaters and hairdryers in town as well. They think it was the Russians.
Right across the border.
Because, Russians need that. Pitari goes upstairs and finds another of those ugly dolls in Joust's bed. Nobody wants to listen to his nonsense about the evil Santa Claus. Pitari then goes home and calls all his friends, but none of them are home. Where did all the children go? Meanwhile, Piparan wakes up the old man on the table with the smell of gingerbread cookies. It's like smelling salts.
Yeah, it is.
The old man knocks out Piparin and bites his ear off. The others return and try to talk to the old man. Pitari comes in, and the old man finally starts to pay attention.
Yeah, it's like he homes in on a child.
Ooh, children.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
Pitari says the old man was sent to take him like the other children. Then they tie the man up. The radio in Santa's pocket says they're landing in 30 minutes, and they want to know if the package is ready to fly.
Yeah, it's the workman's.
It's the owner.
Yeah, one of the
owner.
workman's radios.
Yeah. Rauno wants to hold Santa hostage, so they put him in a cage and drive to the airport. The helicopter from Sub-Zero Inc. lands in front of them. The mine owner from earlier gets out and talks to the men. He wants to know where his men are, and they ask for $85,000 for the cargo. Where'd they get that number? Made it up.
Just made it up.
He looks at the cargo and tells the man, "This is not Santa. This is one of Santa's little helpers. Santa's going to find out who's naughty or nice." Then he's killed by one of Santa's helpers. The men are surrounded by evil elves, of which the old man was one of them. They run inside one of the hangars and see a huge frozen creature trapped in ice.
That's Santa.
It's big, too.
Yeah.
It's surrounded by ovens, heaters, and hairdryers. Also, many potato sacks full of children. As the elves try to break in the door, the ice starts to crack. Pitari notices the building has a skylight. He also notices many boxes of explosives. All these hunters and butchers and men, and takes the kid to notice the explosives.
He's a smart kid.
Piparinen makes it to the helicopter by distracting the elves with gingerbread. He takes off and rescues all the children by airlifting them out of the building. Rauno drills holes in Santa's ice block and stuffs them full of dynamite. They also cut off his gigantic horns.
And also by airlifting the kids, it also lures the elves along. The kids are flying, under the helicopter, and the elves are running along.
A big pack of elves.
Yeah, big pack of them being lured along.
Meanwhile, dozens of naked Santa elves run through the snow in pursuit of the helicopter. Pitari suggests that they lure them into the electric fence corral and see what happens. Hundreds of naked Santas run into the corral and get trapped. Back at the airport, they detonate Santa. All the elves suddenly drop their weapons and look stunned. Their master has been destroyed. There are now 198 Santa Clauses. They decide to sell them for $85,000 apiece. They're all going to get quite rich on this. We then get a shot of the men washing, cleaning, and training the Santa Clauses before the holiday next year. They dress them up in Santa suits and sell them in boxes marked Rare Exports.
And that was so funny, that montage of, and it doesn't last that long, but, training them to be, the mall Santas where the kid's sitting on the lap, and they had life-size child dolls on their laps, and and the one yanks the doll's head off, and they're like, no, bad, no, nice to the child.
They're basically tame monsters at this point.
Yeah, and training them how to behave.
So now you know where mall Santas come from.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just so ridiculous, it's hard to find any faults with it. It's hard to take any of it seriously, and it is just the perfect Christmas horror film. The acting is so-so, but the situations are just so over-the-top goofy that it's hard to complain. There's a little bit of shoddy CGI, but it's just so unique in its story. It's definitely something you got to see.
Yep, check it out.
Absolutely recommend it. And next up, we got a short film.
Then we watched Humbug from 2016.
Certainly we couldn't find a Christmas short film.
Oh, well, there's a few out there. So we watched this one, directed by Matt Thiessen and Justin Lee, written by Millie Sanders, stars Jesse Foundry and Millie Sanders. Runtime, 6 minutes, 58 seconds. And that's on YouTube. We've got the link for you. A goth girl makes a drawing of Santa in her notebook, cuts her hand, dripping sacrificial blood on the image. And it's a beheaded Santa, too, that she's drawn. Then someone knocks at her door. The neighbor comes over and offers her some cookies. She made one just for her with a cute little skeleton on it. Well, the goth girl hates gingerbread and crushes it. with lots of profanity. And the neighbor says, well, we're going to do this a different way, and tasers her.
Zap.
Yeah. She wakes up in a heavily decorated, and that's just awesome how the room is decorated. Every single thing in the room is Christmas themed.
She's definitely a Christmas fan.
Yeah, she's the neighbor. And the goth girl is tied to a chair with Christmas lights. Neighbor is determined to give her some holiday spirit. The neighbor then explains her past, and the torture begins.
I like one of the details here. As the neighbor starts to explain herself, she pours out a bottle of whiskey from the old exposition.
Old exposition.
And she starts telling you this long story that it's just nothing but exposition.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
And it goes nowhere near where you expect it to go.
No.
It's very cool.
Yeah, check this one out.
Yeah, link in the show notes to just watch that one. And next up, we've got 2015's Krampus movie.
And this movie, I think, was underrated, under-recognized, kind of flew under the radar. I don't think it gets nearly enough love.
A Christmas horror story, which is one we're going to maybe get to this year. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Is one of the big stories that goes throughout that is Santa Claus versus the Krampus monster.
Yeah.
And I think I was having that one confused with this one for a couple of years because I kept hearing about Krampus and I've thought, like, we've seen that.
And I think maybe a lot of people had that confusion, too.
This is not that.
No.
Santa Claus does not make an appearance here.
Nope, just Krampus.
Directed by Michael Dougherty, written by Todd Casey, Michael Dougherty, and Zach Shields. Stars Adam Scott from Parks and Recreation, Toni Collette from Hereditary, David Koechner and Allison Tolman from who knows where.
From lots of stuff.
Hour and 36 minutes, trailer in the show notes as usual. Did you like it?
Oh, yeah, I thought it was great.
Yeah, it might be the best one this week.
But
that's probably arguable.
It's hard to decide. Yeah, they were all winners.
Yeah, this starts out as an awesome parody of other Christmas films that eventually stops being funny and starts to go down a really dark path.
Yeah, it's a little bit
and it's high budget.
National Lampoon's Christmas
very
Vacation.
Much so,
very reminiscent of that at the beginning. Yeah, the family's coming to visit, and it goes downhill. It goes downhill from there. Yeah.
The weird cousin doesn't show up in an old Winnebago, but he may as well have. Mm-hmm. It's a Humvee. All right, well, we start out by watching Black Friday shenanigans as the credits roll. Tom and Sarah return home, scolding their son Max for starting a fight in the middle of the Christmas play. Sister Beth is simply an exasperated teenager, and Grandma Omi makes cookies. She's an old European woman that barely speaks English.
Well, when she wants to, she can.
Yeah.
It's one of her powers that she can summon
when it's necessary.
Yes.
Linda and Howard arrive with their kids in tow, and it's a scene right out of National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. They even brought eccentric old Aunt Dorothy, who's going to be the life of the party. Howard is a gun nut and wants to talk about guns all through dinner, but Tom and Sarah aren't big fans. Dorothy grouches about a lack of ham. The holiday from hell has begun. Everything here seems pretty typical for a holiday family reunion type story.
They're there for an extended visit.
Max still believes in Santa Claus, but the cousins tease him about that. This leads him to tear up his letter to Santa and throw it out the window. Suddenly, the power goes out all over town, and a blizzard hits hard. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
An unforecasted blizzard. Mm-hmm. Why did they not see this coming? The next morning, the power's still out, the phone is not working, and there's a strange, giant snowman in the front yard. There are no neighbors around this time of year. It's all pretty grim until Omi makes hot chocolate in the fireplace. She remembers the old country with no electricity. She's got her ways.
She's good.
Beth walks to her boyfriend's house in the snow just down the street, and the further she gets from home, the darker and scarier it gets. She sees a monster running from rooftop to rooftop. She finds a delivery man frozen to death in his truck. She hides under the truck until something gets her. Tom and Howard want to take Howard's Hummer and find Beth and check out the town. Omi says, "Don't go, it's dangerous out there." But they go anyway, and soon find an abandoned snowplow. The glass on the snowplow was broken inwards like something took the driver. They get to boyfriend Derek's house, and it's empty and abandoned as well. They find hoof prints like a goat was there.
Yeah, and the house has been bashed open, and it's all frozen inside.
Yeah,
and
it's like
there's
something out of Antarctica or something.
and these footprints inside.
What kind of goat walks on its hind legs? Asked Howard. That ain't never good.
No.
Back at the house, they hear something on top of the roof. Tom and Howard get attacked, and the Hummer is destroyed. They make it home and speculate on what attacked them. Meanwhile, Omi is in the kitchen checking out her butcher knives. Tom wants to barricade the doors and stay in the house. They eventually all go to sleep, the batteries in their devices die, the fire goes out, and the sounds upstairs just get more and more agitated. Howie Jr. gets attacked by a gingerbread man and pulled up the chimney. What?
The gingerbread men in this were awesome.
Oh, yeah. Omi says it's come for us all. She tells him about a time when she was little, when there was no love at Christmas. That was when he came. A darker, more ancient spirit. It was Krampus. He dragged her family into the underworld. He left me behind as a reminder of what happens when hope is lost, when the Christmas spirit dies, she says. Howard tries to go outside, but the house is now surrounded by snowmen and other things. Tom wants to go back outside and pick up the snowplow, but we see that some gifts have appeared under the tree with more of Krampus's helpers inside. Howard's kids, Stevie and Jordan, go upstairs, and something gets them. They go upstairs looking for the kids and find a giant clown-faced sandworm thing eating them. It's actually a jack-in-the-box grown monstrous in size.
Yeah, all the toys have turned into monsters. The teddy bear and even the Christmas top angel and all these different things have become monsters.
Meanwhile, Howard is attacked by evil gingerbread man. Teddy bears, a robot toy, and a snow angel attack next, all made into monsters. Linda kills most of them with an axe, and they finally manage to rescue Stevie back. That's when the really demonic-looking things storm in and simply overwhelm everybody. Things are getting really hairy until they hear something howling, and they all run away. What could scare those things off?
Krampus.
It's him, says Max. They all agree to run for the snowplow down the street to make their getaway. They all go out, but Omi chooses to stay behind.
Yeah, she's going to buy him some time. Plus, she wants to face down her fears and face down Krampus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to face down Krampus, but she's going to do it.
She's very brave.
Krampus comes down the chimney with only Omi remaining in the house. The battle rages outside, and soon all that's left are Stevie and Max. Nope, whoop, it's just Max. Just like in Omi's story, Krampus leaves him behind as a reminder. He drops off Max's torn-off letter to Santa. Yes, he did cause all this by tearing up his letter.
Well, he was the final straw, I guess. Tipped the scale.
Max recants his wish and tries to bargain with Krampus. And then Max wakes up. It was all just a dream. Everyone is there, alive and normal. However, when he unwraps a Krampus ornament, suddenly everyone remembers what happened. They're living in a tiny Christmas snow globe prison. Just one snow globe on a shelf among countless snow globes in Krampus's lair. Oh, that didn't end well.
Well, sort. I mean, yeah, they're stuck in Christmas forever.
Every day is
Every
Christmas.
day will be Christmas. Yeah.
It's very creepy and tense. In the beginning, I was starting to wonder if this was actually going to turn out to be a horror movie. It didn't seem like it at first.
But it definitely did.
Oh, it definitely was. It starts off like any typical family holiday with fights, snarkiness, and obnoxious conflicts, and it quickly degenerates into a high-speed, high-action monster fest with a lot of dark humor. It has really high production values and obviously had a very large budget. Mm-hmm. The animated section was a nice surprise, and it was also very well done. The creatures were both creative and unusual, and also very fun to watch. It was good, had a lot of funny bits, and everyone in it was right for the part. Had a great cast, great music, great effects, one of the best Christmas horrors.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Go watch Krampus. What could be weirder than Krampus?
Is this a musical? And as I said, when I watched this, because I didn't know going into it that it was.
About 10 minutes in, somebody starts to sing, and Kevin's like, wait.
This is a musical.
Anna and the Apocalypse from 2018. Directed by John McPhail, written by Alan McDonald and Ryan McHenry, stars Ella Hunt, Malcolm Cumming, Sarah Swire, hour 33 minutes. Watch the trailer and see if you can stand it. If you didn't realize this was going to be a musical, well, you've been spoiled. But it is. It's not exactly what you call scary, but it has all the usual zombie movie tropes and a lot of songs.
And lots of gore.
Yeah, it did. We both enjoyed it, which kind of surprises me for a musical. So Kevin didn't realize this was a musical, and then I had to tell him about my experience with Sweeney Todd.
You went into that not knowing it was a musical.
Not a Christmas movie, but those ads for that movie had no indication whatsoever. I went to see it in the theater and didn't realize that was a musical.
I worked with someone who was surprised that way, too.
Yeah.
So maybe I didn't watch the trailer, or ever did. Does the trailer show song and dance?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I'm sure I saw the trailer, but I couldn't tell you now.
Okay,
so Anna and the Apocalypse starts out with the CDC announces over the radio that the pathogen that was predicted to be a major plague wreaking havoc across the globe has mutated into...
Click.
Then they switch it to Christmas music instead. Nobody was listening to that stupid news anyway.
That's right.
Anna and John have to work tonight, so they can't do anything with her dad. She wants to go to Australia instead of university, and her father does not approve. Anna, John, and Steph then sing about being a high school student and the common troubles of that age group. Sooner or later, we all have to break away, the song goes. During the song, we also meet Lisa, Nick, and Chris, other students at the school. Mr. Savage is planning to become the new principal.
And he was a hoot.
Yeah, he's also organizing the school musical. Anna hears zombie noises from behind her. But it turns out it's just another student who has asthma. They all go to lunch, which brings about a song that whines there's no such thing as a Hollywood ending. Steph gets locked out of her car and complains that she's got no one to help. Anna walks past a guy who, this time, is clearly a real zombie. That night, it's time for the Christmas musical. It's definitely not like the musicals they had at the school I went to, that's for sure.
No, not at all. No, that's something.
Yeah. The next morning, Anna walks and sings on the way to school. There's a zombie calamity going on all around her at every step, but she's too busy singing with her earbuds in to notice.
And that was a very funny scene, I thought, where she's so oblivious.
Yeah. Well, you're wearing earbuds, you don't pay attention to what's behind you.
Well, if you've seen Shaun of the Dead, it reminded me of that, where he's hung over and half asleep and walking down the street and just completely overlooks all the zombie stuff going around him.
She meets up with John, who's coincidentally singing the exact same song. They finish the song and run to a zombie into a snowman costume.
And finally, they realize...
Anna, this guy's a zombie, says John as the man's decapitated head growls at them. Huh, okay.
And then they notice.
Yeah, then they notice the explosions and sirens in the background. What have we missed? They meet up with Chris and Steph and watch the news on the internet, which isn't good. This thing is worldwide. They hide out in the bowling alley. They speculate on whether various celebrities are alive or zombies. We do know that Justin Bieber is now a zombie. Zombies finally break in, and they do battle. Meanwhile, Anna's father, Mr. Savage, and Lisa are trapped inside the school. The phones, even the internet, goes out, which is worthy of another song.
Of course.
The next morning, all the soldiers are zombies now, too. Anna and John still want to get to the school to rescue their friends. Nick joins them. He's been looting supplies and killing the undead. Nick wants to fight back. He sings his hero song.
With his fellow heroes. He's got like an entourage of some guys with him. They've been fighting back.
Yeah. They decide to take a shortcut through the Christmas Tree Emporium. John gets bit and sacrifices himself to save Anna. They arrive at the school, where Mr. Savage locks them in the room with all the teachers, who are all zombies now. The betrayal is, of course, worthy of song. They find Lisa, but Chris's grandmother is dead. Anna goes off to find her father, and the others make an attempt to find Steph's car keys. That goes badly, and both Lisa and Chris are bitten as well. Anna finds Savage again, but this time he has her father as a prisoner. He's lost his mind. It's time for Anna's big zombie-killing song, and this goes badly for Mr. Savage. Unfortunately, Anna's dad has been bitten too. It's looking pretty bleak as Anna sings with Nick about losing hope while we see a death montage as we revisit those who have been bitten. They're both cornered, and it looks like the end. But, Steph shows up in her car, and Anna and Nick drive away with her. Where are they going? Further into the zombie apocalypse. Yeah. We don't know. We never actually see anyone turn into a zombie here. The gore is more on the comical side than the scary kind of stuff, but there is a lot of blood.
A lot of gore.
Okay, there's also the Rocky Horror Picture Show, but I don't see a lot of similarities here. They're just
musical horror movie.
Aren't a lot of horror movie musicals out there, so it's not much to compare it to other than that one episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Mm-hmm. It's like someone watched that episode back in the day and said, "Hey, what if this was a full-length movie in about 18 years?"
There you go.
It took that long to write the songs. It's fun. There's a lot of songs which are actually pretty good, and there's a lot of humor, which is absolutely necessary for something like this. There's plenty of the usual teen angst, but in a musical, it does in fact all kind of work.
Yeah, and all the songs were good and catchy. Yeah.
I haven't exactly wanted to play the CD, but it was all right. It was good.
But we're not really musical people that much, so yeah.
True.
But we enjoyed it thoroughly while we watched it.
Yeah, definitely recommend it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it for this week. Stop in at horrorguys.com for, reading all these reviews. Sign up for the newsletter for all the same reviews, plus a couple of extra bonus reviews.
And giveaways.
We've got a couple more of our Silent Night, Deadly Night sequels coming up this weekend. I think we're up to, what did we do last time? We did 2 and 3. This will be 4 and 5. Silent Night, Deadly Night, Part 4 and 5 will be our bonus reviews exclusively on the newsletter.
And then I understand that they rebooted it, too. We may talk about that in the future.
We will be talking about that in the future, yes. Yeah, I hear that one's pretty good. But next week, we'll be watching, believe it or not, more Christmas classic horror.
We got Santa's Sleigh from 2005. That's S-L-A-Y.
Starring Goldberg the wrestler.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
And he is bombastic in that. Yeah, he's awesome. Jack Frost from 1997.
All right.
And the sequel, Jack Frost 2 from 2000.
Oh, my.
And The Ginger Dead Man from 2005 with the voice of Gary Busey.
I think we may be scraping bottom. All right. Well, some of these are pretty good. Some of these are good. They're not quite on the level of this week's films.
Good.
All right. Well, that's our show for this week. Don't forget to sign up for the Twitter accounts or the newsletter for those giveaways.
Yeah.
We'll picking the winner next week.
We love to give away.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Kevin.
We'll see you next week.
See ya.